bonus level of Thoughts and Players podcast. I'm so glad editing exists. Alright, today we're going to be talking about Overwatch and Final Fantasy VII Remake. And today I'm going to be doing that with a special guest, one of my closer friends, Spike. Spike, say hello.
Hiya, peeps.
Alright, before we get into these games, I want to hear a little bit about your background. Where did you start?
Honestly, from what I've always been told, my mom said I started in her womb playing Miner 49er on the Atari. But, no, I started on Atari, playing Miner 49er, Pitfall. I'm old. It's actually why I felt old listening to your first level. All you guys talking about maybe Nintendo at earliest, but I was playing an Atari. But from there on, I played every system, actually, besides maybe Sega CD, and I didn't play a whole lot of Dreamcast. That was it. But other than that, I played every system. I actually own most systems still to this day.
Nice. I have my Sega, but my Nintendo broke and I never replaced it.
Actually, I think we still have a Nintendo, me and my wife. When I first moved up here in Michigan 18 years ago, I literally bought a Sega Genesis for actually one of my favorite games, which was Shining Force 2.
Really?
Yeah, and I actually bought that game, which was totally way overpriced for $50.
Oh my god,
that's how much it meant to me, though.
I hate when the good games are so pricey, just because, it's worth it, I'll get it.
Yeah. But I've literally owned, and not the handheld systems. I didn't really feel a need to actually own all of the handheld systems, but all the major consoles, I've always usually owned all of them. Oh, until Xbox One. I never did buy that. I know. Yeah, you can give me a dirty look all you want.
No, I have two of them, and they're Netflix boxes. I don't use them for gaming at this point.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go into Overwatch first. How did we get into Overwatch, you say? Well, I'll start you off with me. I was playing PUBG with a few of my friends, and my friend Kyle, he's like, you should try Overwatch. I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't really sound like my game. He's like, no, just try it, it's really fun. So I put the money into it, played it for a couple hours. I was like, you know what? You're right, Kyle, this is a great game. You should play with me sometime. He's like, yeah, okay. So we add each other on the BlizzNet, whatever thing, and I check his stats. He played the game for 3 hours. How are you going to tell me it's a great game in 3 hours of play? And I already played more time than you by the time we played together. I was so mad. But, 1,300 hours later into the game now, I'm not mad. I've been very happy with the time I've put in. And now, Kyle, I thank you. What about you, Spike?
Well, what happened was I was always told, I started actually messaging people on this specific app, like all across the world, and this one girl was all like, hey, I have Overwatch. I like to play. And I was like, I've never really cared too much, a whole lot for first-person shooters. I played Modern Warfare and all that other stuff, and I always got annoyed, really bad. Like, I like first-person shooters, I love Borderlands and stuff, but, I was just, playing a bunch of other people that have already been playing for who knows how long, just whooping my butt. I was like, I don't know if I'll get into that, but it was cheap, and so I bought it. I think I played with her once, and, I got my ass whooped. And so I sat it down for, 3 months. I didn't touch the game. But then I got bored one day, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it an honest try this time, and honestly, I started getting a lot better. Mystery Heroes was helping me out a lot, trying to get around, getting used to all the different characters and whatnot. And from then, I want to say up until a new game just came out, or, newer now, but Final Fantasy VII Remake, I was playing every single day, at least 2 to 3 hours a day, and that's been for the last, 2 years.
That sounds like where I was. So who do you mostly play, or who do you like to play?
I like playing support. I've been playing, I used to play mostly Moira, but I've been liking Brigitte a heck of a lot more. For damage, I like Sombra, Tracer, Soldier, and honestly, I've never been that great of a sniper, but I do decent with Widow, and I'm surprised. I'm not a big fan of her skill set. just because like even her ultimate is it's the worst ultimate ever. It doesn't it helps kind of, but like it doesn't like do any kind of major damage. You know, I don't know what they could do to fix that, but like I just know that it's, in my opinion, one of the worst ults ever. And then honestly, for for tanking, I usually either pick Orisa or I'll pick. Actually, I've been getting better with Hammond, and surprisingly, which a lot of people are good with him, but I've been getting better.
Hammond he's really good when you get good with him.
Yeah,
and if you're not good with him, you're just feeding the entire time.
Yeah.
So to get from point A to point B, that's kind of where the struggle is.
Yeah, those are the characters I mainly play as when I'm trying to play.
Okay.
I mean, I'm decent. I'm well enough to actually get by with the rest of them too, but those are the characters I play with.
Well, myself, I actually really like Moira too. She's the one I had the most hours in. I think I have about 200 hours in the Moira.
Oh, last time I checked, I was like at 150.
So we're pretty close.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of other supports, but I play Lucio when I have to, and Baptiste when I have to. I like to play Zen, but he's in such a bad spot right now, and I can't. I
mean, I've been getting better with Zen, especially with this charge attack, but he's so slow. Yep. That's my issue. He's just so slow. I mean, that's my only issue with him, is just slow. I think his ult's best for healing, though, if it only lasts for, 10 seconds or something like that, but still to be able to, keep everyone alive for 10 seconds when you're getting major, it's good.
Right. That's why I play Lucio for his ult, giving, I think it's 750 shields.
Yeah.
Because Zen being in a bad spot, and then Lucio is at least usable. You can speed in, speed out, heal, whatever. And that's why I play him, because...
It also rushes everyone to the point, which is very, very helpful.
Yep. The few seconds can be a decision in a fight.
Exactly.
It matters.
And his ult, after he gives you those shields, even if they're at low health and you give them those shields and you have your healing on, it heals them all the way up while those shields are running down. It's very helpful. Gives the people the time to actually gain their health. Yeah,
I've saved many tanks from ulting and then healing while they have all that armor, and it's one fights.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. You have to know when to use your ult or not. If you do it too late, tank's dead, you're the only one there, it was a waste.
I've done it.
I mean, I've done it too. It's all a learning process.
Yeah.
DPS wise, I love Echo. If I can play Echo, I'm playing Echo. That's all there is to it. Eventually, I learned I can't just be arrogant about it. So I've learned to switch. So I play like Doomfist. I love Mei. She's the one I have the most hours in after Moira.
Okay.
And McCree when I have to be a hit scan.
Yeah.
And then tanking, I play a lot of tank lately. That's the most I've been putting in, because the queue times are so short.
Yeah.
They're just instant. I've gotten pretty good with Winston. He's probably my best tank. And then Zarya. But my favorite to play is Hog. I'm just not great with him. Like if I want to int and lose SR, I play Hog. Not on purpose.
My only issue with Hog is his ult. If you don't have a good team able to heal you while you do your ult, because everyone's just like, oh, your ult, you should be able to stay alive. No, people could just annihilate you as you're getting your ult off, and you're sitting there trying to push everyone away. People can flank you easily, and no one's there to heal you.
Yep. It's annoying.
It is. It's frustrating like no other.
I don't know. Where do you rank in competitive? Do you play competitive?
Last time I was trying to get up to platinum. I'm in gold in healing and support. Again with Brigitte and Moira mainly, and I was just getting up to gold with damage and tanking. I don't do a whole lot of tanking in competitive at my level, which is still silver in tanking too. But at my level, people don't take care of their tanks, man.
I know it.
It's so frustrating.
It's
like, don't get me wrong, I understand we're supposed to be taking a brunt of the damage. Like, that's what we're there for. We're supposed to disperse the enemy team. But we can't do that if we're constantly dying and then have to walk forever to get back to the point where we're supposed to be at.
Right,
you
just
know?
to die again.
Yeah, help your tanks.
For me, this Overwatch being the first game where there's been tanks and healers and DPS for a game that I've played, I originally placed gold. As soon as I hit 25, I played ranked, hit gold. People were actually surprised. Like, the people I was getting matched up with, because I just solo queue.
Yeah.
And I tanked. And I don't mean playing tank. I mean competitively, I went down to bronze.
Whoa.
I was down to about 1,200. And I placed 23. I don't know. But I worked, I studied, I learned. So I got all the way up to, by the time they did the 3 queues, I was up in diamond.
Nice.
So, I mean, right now I'm in plat with everything. I'm a high plat.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I got some more work to do.
Yeah.
The meta. How do you feel about the meta? Do you like the meta? Do you hate the meta?
I mean, it's all based off of shield tanks, you know, like, and I don't, like, getting there, or, like, you know, having that with you is great, you know, if they're willing to play it, but I don't get picked with those players that like picking with the meta, you know. I get a lot of people that like playing with Roadhog, and then they don't necessarily stick with the group, you know, they're not... Yeah. Like, I get a lot of... But then again, I'm not playing a ton of competitive. I love playing Mystery Heroes. I love playing, you know, the other games. Especially since, I didn't know if you knew this, but, like, this last weekend, I was getting double experience all weekend.
What?
Yeah. Dude, I went up 30 levels within 3 days.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if that was just a PlayStation thing. I don't know if that was just me. Like, my specific account. I don't know if they screwed something up, but yeah, I was getting double experience. I was showing my wife 3 games. I was leveling up. Like, no problem. But anyways, like, you know, so I was playing a lot of Mystery Heroes, and a lot of people, or, like, you know, I was playing normal quick play, and a lot of those people, they just want to do whatever they want to do. It makes me miss... I haven't played competitively a lot since the last season, actually, you know, and so I just started actually last night playing, you know, and it's a lot better knowing that people are at least trying to win and not just goof off. You still get the people that are, you know, goofing off, but not as much. It's just the wait times that suck. You know, but the meta, I do like the meta. I think it's working real well, you know, if you get the people to play them properly. You know, the shield tanks are really where it's at, you know, especially if you have 2 shields, it's so hard to break through them, and if you time them right, you know, by the time, yeah, you can have a Bastion blow through an Orisa shield, but then Sigma can either, like, you know, suck up all that bullet damage and then throw out his shield, waiting for Orisa's shield to actually charge up to where she could shoot it out again. It pushes. Right. You know, it does real well. Sigma with his rock, you know, stun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so, like, you can stun them, pushing them back further, and then Orisa's, what is it, Halt?
Yeah.
That, you know, you can push people further back, you can keep that payload keep going, you know, the whole time. You can keep people off the point, push them off the point. Like, yeah, the meta is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I've had to play Sigma quite a bit lately, but I've been doing pretty well with them, surprisingly. So, yeah, the medals, I think it is in a good spot because it's mostly, from what I've seen, is Sigma and Orisa, and then everything else is kind of pretty lenient.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good spot. And speaking of meta, it was, not too long ago, it was being dispersed week by week with the hero bans. How did you feel about the hero bans?
Hero bans, it annoyed me at first just because, like, sometimes I didn't get to play with the character that I normally wanted to play with. It actually made me find Brigitte, though, because normally I play with Moira, and then they banned her. And I was like, mother... you know, right? I was really upset, but then I was like, you know what? Let's try some other ones. And so I tried Brigitte, and I was actually doing way better with her than I originally ever did. Like, you know, I was surprised with how good I was doing. I was still able to keep up my healing, you know. her passive ability to heal people with her Inspire was helping me out a lot, as long as our team was actually grouped up, you know, like,
Yep.
you know.
She's really good if the team focuses around
Yeah.
her.
People just need to remember that, like, yeah, you could disperse a little bit, but you need to keep coming back to the group. You can't just be the lone wolf if you want to actually make those big wins, you know. Some people, yeah, you can have one person be a lone wolf for a good while, but you need to come back to the group every once in a while, you know?
Right.
Like, not way up in the corner, up on a balcony, heal me. I need healing. Okay, great. How am I supposed to get to you, guy?
I only have so many charges to throw at you.
Yeah, you know, and stuff like that, you know. But, and then a bulk of the healing is by Inspire, though. Like, you know, yeah, you have those charges, and they do heal you up a lot, but, like, you have constant healing as long as Brigitte's attacking, and the Inspire just keeps going up. You have Inspire percentage. Like, there's a reason why, like, yeah, she's sitting there bashing people, and you want to stay near her when she's attacking people, and you also want to defend her, because her shield's like a paper.
Right? But, like, I know it was before her, like, major rework, but, like, that's why Goats was so relevant.
Yes.
Because of Brigitte.
I love that skin, though.
The goat one?
Yeah, I got the goat skin.
It is cool looking. I didn't get it, unfortunately.
Oh.
Yeah. But for me, the hero band, I liked the idea of the hero band. Even, like, when Moira was banned, I was like, okay, great. So I had to play Lucio, Baptiste. I even played Ana a few times. But what was upsetting was they kept banning, like, the same heroes for, like, DPS. There was always McCree and Widow.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, sure, Symmetra was at one point, May was at one point, even Sombra, but, like...
I want to say that at one point they went from banning Moira to banning Brigitte to banning Moira again. And I was like, what was the point of that? Like...
Right. Like, I think if they changed the way they banned the heroes, I mean, I think it would still be a good thing.
I think the way that they do it, though, is based off the percentage of that hero being played. Is what I'm thinking. And so, therefore, like, they're trying to keep people to branch out. So, I wouldn't be surprised if one time they ended up banning Moira and Brigitte, because, you know, they double it up sometimes. And
right.
So,
There was, at one point, it was, what, 4 DPS?
Yeah.
So the only hit scan was Ashe?
Yeah.
Like, and then they released Echo, and then a week later, she was banned for a week.
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
Again, it went with the percentage of amount of people that were playing her. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that during that time,
Yep.
every single team had an Echo on
Yep.
their team. You know?
Yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah.
Speaking of Echo, adding heroes to the game, do you like that idea?
I actually always loved that idea. Like, say Borderlands, for instance. You know, like, you had to buy the hero. You know, you had to either buy the season pass or buy the expansion pack to actually get the new hero. You know, like, that's one thing I've always enjoyed about Overwatch, is that they've literally given you this new hero to play with and experiment with. You know, it brings new, like, aspects to the game that you didn't think were possible before. You know, and the fact that they keep on planning on bringing out these new heroes. Even into Overwatch 2, they plan on bringing out new heroes. You know, I still think that that's amazing. That's actually one of the reasons why I love playing this game. It's constantly changing, and sometimes it sucks, but sometimes it's really cool, you know, and you'll find something like, honestly, when Sigma came out, I thought that, like, I was having such a hard time with him. You know, yeah, he does great amounts of damage with his 2 balls, but, like, you know, then you have to wait and then do it again, you know?
Yeah.
I like how they ricochet, though. You can get around corners when people try to hide.
Yep.
It helps out so much, you know? And, again, like, they just keep on creating these new characters. I don't know where they're getting these ideas from. I've actually watched many videos of people actually creating their own ideas. I don't know if they get some of those ideas from those people, too. But, like, they keep on going on this trend. Now, this game is great. I just think that there's a ridiculous amount of characters to play as. You know? It's like, who do I choose? And then when you have, like, your first few that you normally would choose are already taken, you're like, what do I choose out of these last 20 people?
I only play competitive
Yeah.
at this point. And when my hero's taken, it's like, I'm not trying to throw.
Yeah.
But that's who I do the best with. Like, that's why I play them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my best with this hero. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned Overwatch 2, do you like the concept of it? What they've changed about? Have you seen any of the trailers for it?
I've seen the trailers. I've heard talk of what they actually were going to change. I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing with like Smash Brothers. You know how not the newest one, but how you can actually upgrade your heroes and stuff like that, and the specific like classifications or abilities and whatnot.
They did that in Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah, they did. I want to say it was the third one, Brawl. No, Brawl. You could actually upgrade your certain characters and Mii characters and save them on your little Mii guys.
I did not know that.
You know, but I think they're doing the same thing. Like, it wasn't really significant, you know, but they're doing the same thing in Overwatch. You know, they're making it more like, you know, basically like a Borderlands, an RPG first-person shooter, you know, where you can upgrade your characters. What I'm wondering, though, is, like, is this going to cross over? Is it they're making it like Call of Duty where you can upgrade your specific weapons and stuff like that, you know?
Mm.
Like, is that going to affect how people want to play? Or how many people are going to want to play? Because like I said, I lost interest in Call of Duty playing against these people that like have all these other abilities and different guns and stuff like that. Is that going to make people not want to play Overwatch 2?
Right.
You know, but they're introducing a story mode, and that actually makes me happy because then maybe my wife will want to play, because Overwatch is a fast-paced game. My wife can't see too well, and she has a hard time tracking everything that's going on around the screen. But in this, we might actually be able to play the game together because she loves the characters, you know, and she likes watching me play.
Right.
But she can't play herself, and that's the downfall. I think it'll open up in certain aspects of the game. I think it'll open it up for new players to actually be welcome and want to play the game. And then in other aspects, I think that, yeah, they might lose some people, but I still think that the diehard fans are going to stick around, play the game.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in it as well. I like the concept of leveling this up and that up and having these kind of different abilities, because I've only seen the one trailer where it shows Tracer and like the different abilities that she has.
Yeah.
I really like that concept. Supposedly, your stuff from Overwatch is going to transfer over.
All your skins and stuff?
I
heard that
like
too.
Your comp level. And
okay. All right.
Stuff like that. But that's uncertain. So
I mean, I wouldn't mind starting from scratch. As long as everyone else starts from scratch. I mean, I'm still going to get my butt kicked sometimes, because if a guy that's all the way in Diamond is playing with me against me, yeah, I'm sure he's going to work me over and give me a new one, you know? But
right. But with, like, you know, the MMR, it's another way to put you in what comp area you should be in. You know, Plat, Diamond, whatever.
Yeah. It's
hidden. So every time the new season starts, and you get placed, it's still using last season's. Like I said earlier, I went all the way in bronze. Now I'm back up in like plat. Like that's stuck on my account. If I go and make a new account and have all the knowledge I do now and place for the first time, like I'm probably gonna place higher.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck where I am right now.
Yeah.
So if they just reset and start from scratch, I wouldn't be too upset about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too upset. I mean, it's just something to work at.
Right.
You know, I have no problem with that.
Because I think that actually, I don't want to call it like a glitch or whatever, but they reset the MMR and everything on Overwatch in one season. I think it was like season like 19 or 20. And literally like everybody plays gold.
Yeah.
Grandmasters, top 500. Everybody was in gold. They were pretty mad.
Yeah, I bet.
But they just fixed it, reset it, and everything went back to what it is now. So that with the Overwatch 2, we seem pretty excited about it.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for it. I know my wife is, and I'm glad. Like, I've been having a fun time playing games with her lately. So no, I want Overwatch 2 bad. Actually, there was one point that I wanted to go over. I'm annoyed with. I've been lately being like playing Mystery Heroes. Like I said, I play it a lot.
Right.
In Mystery Heroes, I'll get the same character sometimes 3 times in a game, and I've gotten Widow, say, 3 times in a row. Like, and I don't know what's going on with that. But
Right.
that's annoying. Like, if it's mystery heroes, we can have multiple heroes on the same team.
Right.
You literally have a bunch to choose from. What?
Why am I getting the same 3 different heroes?
And sometimes in a row. Like, I've literally died, came back as Reinhardt, died, came back as Orisa, died, Reinhardt again. And I'm like, what is going on? Like,
right. There's 32 characters now?
Yeah.
And you're going to give me the same 3? Like, come on. Like, I used to play Mystery a lot, too, because nobody can get mad at you for being the hero that you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're like, change. You're terrible. Like, well, yeah, I'm terrible with this guy because I never play him. That's why I'm here in Mystery Hero, so I don't mess up my rank.
Yeah.
And whatever. But I need the mystery in the hero.
Yeah. Because I mainly play mystery heroes during the day when my daughter's around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be given this, like, my all. Like, 20 minutes of attention or whatever, how long ever the match is,
Right.
But with my daughter crawling all around me, getting in my face, trying to grab my controller and stuff, yes. Or, like, something happens to her, I need to help her. I need to be able to, like, not... Like, this
not
isn't...
care.
Not care. This isn't a completely serious game.
If I throw the remote real quick and lose the match, it's not...
it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah, I know you guys are disappointed in me. Maybe you're upset with me, but, like, this literally, you're still gaining experience, which is all this specific game set is worth. It's not competitive. It's not ranked.
Right.
Now, ranking, I only play at night when I know my daughter's not around,
Yep.
And so, like, I know that I could literally give this all of my attention. I'm not walking away,
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, though, is even in ranked matches, you'll see just a person sitting there at the spawn point, just waiting, doing nothing.
Yep.
And it's like, what's going on? Like, you're supposed... This is where we're supposed to be getting serious, and you're just not there. You're MIA. What's going on?
Right. That's what annoys me in any game that's multiplayer. It's not just Overwatch, but just so many people troll in competitive and throw, and then people smurf quite often. Like, I don't see the fun in any of that.
No. I do like how you can actually record your matches, though, now.
Yes, go back, see what you did wrong.
You can
see
also
if
look
you were
at
blaming
those...
the Rhine when it was actually your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
But it's good.
But you can
review.
also find those people that are literally... Because I've seen a bunch of the videos on people that are just smurfing, or they're doing whatever they want. They're just jacking around.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a Lucio the whole match jump onto the point and do his little dance.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, like I guess he had his healing on, so people could go there and get healed for like 2 seconds. He never did his supercharged healing or whatever, amp up healing, but like they could go there and get healed for a second and then go run off to the battle again. But that's not really helping the team,
right?
Like you can actually send those videos to Blizzard and they can ban their account. I think that's helpful,
right?
Like they won't just ban it based off your word. They'll actually check the account, make sure that the person was doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Maybe they were using a third party to like help them see through walls or auto aim or whatever. It's helping.
Yeah.
This level of thoughts and players is brought to you by us. If you've been enjoying the podcast so far, please show your support and let us know by subscribing to the podcast, following us on the socials, and contributing to community surveys and questions around our community segments. Doing so will help the podcast grow, keep our content engaging, and most importantly, make sure your voice is heard. Thanks for tuning in, and now, back to the show.
Alright, I think that's enough for Overwatch. We're going to move over to Final Fantasy VII. Now, I don't have any experience here, so it's going to be all Spike. Hey, the only experience I have for Final Fantasy is X and X 2.
Which were great games.
X 2 is my favorite Final Fantasy, and I get a lot of crap for that, but that's not what we're here for.
No.
Alright, so I do know that Final Fantasy VII is coming in pieces, and it's only the first part is out right now, and... how does that make you feel?
Honestly, with actually seeing this game how much they've actually put into it. I know that a lot of people have actually been upset that there's so many side missions. Like the Midgar section, I went back and actually played the original Final Fantasy. I wanted to see the differences, and I went through the first CD, the Midgar CD, which is the first CD of the game, like a breeze, like nothing. And they want to make it worth your money.
I hope so, yeah.
And so literally, it took me like a good 30 hours, 35 hours to beat the game
that's
normally.
What Kyle was telling me. It took about 30 hours to beat it.
And it's in segments, but you can do so much with your segment. That one segment, you literally, and you can talk to so many different people, get so many different aspects. It actually gave you more plot in that 35 minutes compared to the first disc of the original game, like as to like say why the reactor blew up the way that it did and the damage that it caused, how they felt about it. It gave you more emotions into the side characters of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, which you didn't have before. Yeah, right. You could talk to them, but you never got any kind of plot points. They didn't get close to the main characters. So yeah, it's broken up into segments, and you got to remember that the team that worked on this game also was working on Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay, yeah.
And they literally had to wait until they stopped working on it and went and finished Kingdom Hearts 3 before they got back to Final Fantasy Remake.
Okay, I did not know that.
And so literally, I'm hoping, because I'm sorry, I'm done with Kingdom Hearts after Kingdom Hearts 3. So done with it. But especially after how long I had to wait. But I'm hoping that, I don't know how many segments they're going to break it into, because honestly, when I was remembering the story of the second CD and everything that goes on in it, like, I could see them splitting that into two different games. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens there compared to, like, what happened just in Midgar. You're basically adding, like, a bunch of other new members into your party all within that second disc. Are you going to be able to keep your weapons? So them breaking it up, it just depends on how long it's going to take them, to bring out the games. If they take like a year or two, I'm going to be anxious and wanting it like really badly, but I'm not going to be super hurt by it. But if I literally am going to have to wait to finish this game by the time I'm like 50 years old or 60 years old, I'm going to be quite upset with it.
I would be too. Right, well, that information actually brings up a question. Do you think that in the original, that they were limited in space and time, and that in this new one they had the time to put in all that history?
Well, I do. Yeah, the discs now hold a heck of a lot more memory. And yeah, they were always under time constraints to pump out Final Fantasies as they went on. The amount of story that's actually there in the original game for the amount of time, like the time that you played it, it had a lot of story and information to go through, a lot of area to check out. You had a whole world to build and play from and everything. And they made the story what it was, and then they weren't sure whether or not they were going to make any more sequels to it. And then with this, they have everything to flesh out because I didn't know if you wanted to get into this quite yet, but the name Remake is actually two different meanings. It's not the original game.
Right.
They're going back to change everything, and so they want you to know like the storyline for the different characters and stuff. Specifically also the side characters that you would have never known.
Right.
They've also introduced a few others that you've never seen in the actual original game. But like there's certain characters that I'm not going to name that died off in the first disc. They're actually, some of them are still alive,
Really? Okay.
Yeah, some of them you thought he died, but you weren't sure and you just never see him again. There was another character that you thought for sure died, but then somehow you end up finding out later on the game that he's still alive. There's also a lot of other minuscule changes actually in the commentary when the characters are talking. Like, Aerith knows way more than she actually should throughout this game. She actually knows what the Turks do, which is find soldier and do their dirty work, which in the original game, Cloud's the one that tells Aerith that. You know,
Okay.
there's certain just dialogue where you know that Aerith knows more than she actually should. There's parts that Cloud has to go through, like something will trigger a memory from his past, but then it also triggers memories from his future, stuff that he shouldn't know yet. This is all, you know, hypothetical theory, or not hypothetical, but this is all the theory that's been going out there, and this is what's getting people upset. They wanted the original game remade.
Mm-hmm.
But with nowadays, you know, having just a amped up version of the original game, that's just not enough, and also just not enough to get other people completely into it.
Right.
You know, and so I think that they did great. I've heard a lot of complaints about it, but I don't agree with them. Not at all. So I think that, you know, they told the story that they wanted to get across in the first game. They put the important points in there. This one not only is going over some of those points, it's changing it. Because the way that the first game ended, you know, yeah, you won the day, but as everyone should know by now, over 20 years later, Aerith dies. You know, in this one, they're trying to change that. I believe they're going to change it.
Okay.
You know, I do have a theory about the ending, but we'll go into that later.
So, like, I know Final Fantasy VII is, like, the Final Fantasy everyone always just goes back to. Did you get what you wanted from the game, what you expected to see?
I've seen a lot of people love Final Fantasy VII. It was the first one on the PlayStation when it first came out. You know, the graphics for the time now, yeah, it looks boxy and everything, you know.
They were great back then.
But back then, that was just mind-blowing, you know. I got everything that I wanted out of this game. I really did. Like, it hit the certain plot points that I wanted it to. It changed some of them up to where, like, if you've played the game enough, you would know that something was amiss. This wasn't quite the same, you know. The one thing, like, you know, the original game was just, I don't know, like, it was awe-inspiring. It was one that changed my perspective, again, on a different type of RPG compared to the grid RPG that I played. You know, in this one, I do like the actual, like, third-person action, you know, RPG aspect of it, you know. The only thing I didn't like about it is the whole Kingdom Hearts type thing. At the end, you're fighting a big old being that's the Arbiter of Fate, and it basically looks like one of the Dark Shadow, or the Heartless,
Really?
Huge Heartless guy. You know, you're fighting him, you know, and it's because the planet itself is trying to make sure that it follows the course from the original game, while in this game, you guys are trying to change that fate. Because if anyone's finished Final Fantasy VII, you'll know at the very end of the game, you see Red 13 with what you expect to be his two children running, and then they come to a cliff, and they show Midgar completely covered in just plant life.
Wow.
And it looks like no humans alive. And if they follow the original path of the storyline, humans are not going to be living in this world anymore. And the planet wants to follow that line, and Aerith is there to try to change it, make it better, or make it to where humans live, but also save it from Sephiroth at the same time. So it's a very good game.
It sounds like there's a lot going on, which I would hope.
Yeah, and again, like, would you want to pay $60 for a game that's literally just a revamped version of the old one?
I wouldn't.
Like, I mean, I love that game. I love it. But the fact that they're making these changes, like, it makes it a new game. It makes you want to play. It makes you want to play it again to see if you missed anything.
Right.
You know? Like I told you, I went back. I played it on hard mode just to get the achievements, you know? But I went back and played it a third time because, again, like I said, all my characters are leveled up, and we talked about it. Yeah, I've heard you talk about it with Resident Evil, you know, I want to go through the game with the rocket launcher and just blow everything away.
Right.
I wanted to go through this game with all my materia raised up to the most max level, all the way topped up, and just annihilate everyone, you know. But it helped me learn also the specific plot points, different things that changed, you know.
Yeah.
And so, like, no, they did a real good job with this game. Like, I can't say enough about it.
Right, like, that's what really got me wanting to play the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same game, but it's different.
It is. There's
it's
small differences, but if you've played the first originals enough,
yeah,
that you've noticed them, and it makes you want to go back and play it again.
Right. Is this your favorite Final Fantasy?
I gotta say, it's either this one or I'm thinking about it. Final Fantasy VII, the original one, was my favorite. I've played, and the second favorite, close second, was 9. I loved 9.
Okay.
You know, 9 was great. I loved. It went back to the old school way of playing role-playing games where you actually had to hold on to an item and actually gain so much experience with that specific like weapon or armor to actually gain the ability, you know. They incorporated that with this Final Fantasy VII Remake. To get specific abilities, you have to use them for so long until you can actually master that ability, and then you could switch whatever weapon you want.
Okay.
So they incorporated that still. They kept the materia system in there still. I did find it kind of irritating, though, that you can only get, like, and I guess it'd be a little overly, like, broken if you could get, like, there's certain materia that you can only get one of no matter how many times you play.
Mm-hmm.
You can only get one, what is it? You can only get Magnify. You can only get one of those, which gives the ability to, like, when you cast fire, it hits all the characters with fire. You cast heal, it heals all your characters.
So it turns single into AoE.
Yeah, it's basically the original game's all materia. All meaning, like, you know, it does it to all the people that, you know, it's doing it to. Like, or you can only get 2 elemental materia, which in the original game, I don't even think you got that in the first CD anyways. So, and this game's based in the first CD of the original game. So literally that's cool, but like those materials you need, this game isn't completely easy. You know, even fully leveled, like towards the end of the game, of course, you know, I didn't die a lot, you know, but I had my characters die a few times. You know, my party didn't die out, but my character still died a few times, and some of the enemies are still hard if you're not paying attention, you know. So literally, like, this game, like, it brings the playability like quite up. I haven't been able to play it much for the 4th time around because there's still 2 achievements that I need to get. I'm having a hard time with the Pride and Joy, which is basically, like, I guess this game's version of like an ultimate weapon, you know, thing. You have to go through all the simulations and fight different bosses and stuff like that, and afterwards you have to fight Pride and Joy, which is a 5-layer battle where you're fighting all the summons. You remember him talking about the summons and Leviathan?
Yeah.
You're fighting all of them, except for they're all on hard mode now instead of just fighting them easy. And then, what was it? I think when you fight Bahamut, if you reach, like, if he gets, I think it's either below 50 health or something lower, he actually summons Ifrit to fight with him. So then you have to fight both of them.
I remember them from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. You know, and so you literally have to fight both of them at the same time until you kill Bahamut, you know. And
That's
it's
insane.
Yeah. Like, I've been looking up videos to how to do that, and then also get the stagger to 300. I still haven't been able to figure out, like, which enemy. I was told summons actually hold the stagger bar for a longer period of time, so I probably got to try to fight a summons and just keep there and raise their stagger with my abilities, but I still haven't been able to do it. The highest I've gotten was 260.
So close yet so far.
I know. Well, you start at 160. I got it up to 100% more, so.
That's not too bad.
No.
You bring up the Leviathans actually triggers a question. Corey, he was talking about the chump or chomped.
Yeah.
Was he chumped or chomped, do you think?
No, like, that battle was hard. You know, and especially if he did all those quests, like, early on, it definitely was hard, but I think he chumped it, like, you know, it was hard, but honestly, like, and I'm sure he probably knows by now, there's way harder battles. like I was telling you when we were talking about this, fighting Hell House on hard mode, I literally had to revamp how I materialized my characters. Like, completely. I had to switch weapons, use different tactics. It took me forever to figure out exactly who to attack first, because before the game, I was just literally kind of blowing it away, using weaknesses against certain things and stuff like that, wasn't really using time materia a whole lot. This literally made me rack my mind, and my wife saw me literally get frustrated multiple times on this stupid battle, I think I had to put it down one day, and then I tried playing it later that night, got frustrated, went to Overwatch, and then the next morning I beat it on my first try, and...
Of course.
And the thing is, though, during that specific chapter, and I was playing it, and I was trying to get all the dresses, and also do all the missions. Well, the missions fork, and you can't get certain missions if you go one way and do these specific things, and so you have to play it twice, and you have to play them on hard mode. So that means you have to play Hell House at least twice to kill him, if not 3 times if you're trying to get the dresses on hard mode, which is kind of stupid. You could just go into easy, but I was sitting there playing Hell House, and I defeated the second time I actually went through to go to the other fork. I screwed up on the fork and I didn't do it right, so I had to actually fight Hell House 3 times in hard mode. But the second time, it only took me 2 times, and the third time I killed him on the first go.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
So, I had it down pat by the time I was playing it the third time, but, Hell House was ridiculous. And also a great callback, because Hell House was an amazing enemy, when in the original game. Didn't show up quite as often, but he could beat your party up, especially if you're just Cloud and Aerith. And this game calling back to that, it called back to quite a few different enemies that you weren't too sure that it was going to show up, Yeah, I was very impressed. They redid them really well.
That's good.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
I mean, it'd be different, because in the original game, you're just walking around and Hell House appeared. I know why they made it a boss battle. You don't want, Hell Houses just popping up in the middle of, all the time.
Crap.
There's a few there was another boss. I want to say it was this Ghost Chariot guy. I forget his name, but he actually was a boss battle, and I could have sworn that he was actually a normal, his ability to pop up wasn't so great, but he did pop up more than just a boss battle, and you had to fight him, so. And then there was another boss battle that I forget what his name was, but you had to fight him twice in the sewer instead of just once in the original game.
Was it a big ass alligator?
Actually it's...
Oh, it was?
Well, it's not like an alligator. It looks more like a beast with the tail and stuff like that. But, you could take similarities from an alligator,
It's like sewer.
He looks more like a dog
Resident Evil 2.
He looks more like a dog in the face. Yeah, but he has, a long hairy tail and spikes going up his spine,
Sounds like a bunch of animals just thrown together.
Basically,
Scary.
You got to fight Behemoth, which is always a Final Fantasy game thing.
He's scary looking.
Actually, surprisingly, he wasn't that bad in this game.
No?
As long as you mainly attack, you don't attack his head, because you get to attack different body parts, So it made it simpler, but if you just think, I'm going to attack his head the whole time, you're not going to get anywhere.
Well, since you've played it through quite a few times,
Yeah.
What are the positives to it and the negatives?
Positives, I want to say, I love the battle system. I loved the story behind it. It went into such great detail. It actually made it worth the $60. My wife's always about the cheaper deal. She would love if I would actually wait for some of these games to go on sale. And this game, I told her no. There's no way.
You gotta know now.
So, it was bad enough that during the quarantine hit, I couldn't pick up my copy from GameStop. And I had to wait a full week. And then I talked my wife into letting me download it as long as I could get my money back from GameStop.
That's the way to go.
But, they changed... they only changed a slight few things. It didn't really start to completely change until almost near the end, which honestly, if you're playing the game, they're all block scenes, so it's not like you're going to be able to see a whole lot of video unless someone's recording it side pod or something, while they're playing it, they're all blocked scenes from the game to actually be recorded. And those small changes gives you a new hope that there's going to be changes in the future of this game with the next installments and whatnot, but hopefully those changes won't be so drastic. I still feel like they're going to go down the same path, but I don't feel like, I feel like the changes are going to be good. I hope we don't have to fight these arbiters of fate like constantly, which are like, I hope that they made that one big arbiter of fate at the very end of this game like a one and done thing, and so this is all a whole new storyline, But like, yeah, they did an amazing job with this game. Is it worth the money? Oh yeah, it's worth the money. The playability, how it looks, you'll fall in love with the characters, like. Even Cloud being cold as he is, you're actually going to see him grow. Even if you're new to this game and you end up just playing this game on its own, and then you end up saying, hey, I want to play the original one. The original one isn't expensive to download on your PS4 or whatever system you got.
Right.
And they actually, I didn't realize until I downloaded it again on my PS4, but they actually upped it to where you can speed up the time system of the battles, and if you want to just run through it real quick, they speed up the time system of the battles.
That is so convenient.
And honestly, they also made it to where if you're just trying to run through it for the storyline, and you want it like easy mode, you can click on the other button and it'll actually give it to where your limit bars always fill up constantly, and whenever you get hit, your hit points just fill up as easily too. So literally, it's just cheat mode. If you're just there for the story,
Hacks.
Or if you're just on a boss battle that like you're fighting and you're getting annihilated in, and you're just wanting to know what happened in the original, you can click that on, and you can turn it off at any time.
Okay.
But I found that out because I always liked getting my limit breaks like as fast as I possibly could, or at least the first few sets, and the way to get your second in the set limit break is you had to use your limit break so many times, and then I found that button and it was just giving me my limit break, and I was like, all right. But no, like this game, even for new people, it should be completely fun. You'd love it. The cons about the game, you don't get multiple like there's certain materials that you can only get so many of. And I feel like that's a bit harsh. Elemental materia you can only get 2 of, no matter how many times you play. I honestly feel like if I've played this game in a second time through hard mode, I should be able to get 2 more elemental materia.
Right.
You only get 1 magnify materia, which is basically all materia in the original game. You only get 1 of those throughout the whole game. And that is like a shame. When I'm, like you said, playing through it again, and I have the rocket launcher, I just want to blow stuff up. Well, at this point, when I want that all materia, I want to know that, like, no matter which character I pick, I played through it 2-3 times. No matter what character I pick to heal, I can have them heal my whole party with 1 spell instead of sitting there having to sift through characters to find the one that can actually heal my whole party.
Right.
And then also, like, what if you wanted to attack a bunch of people at the same time? I thought that was, kind of downheartening that you only get 1 magnify materia. Again, I didn't like the Kingdom Hearts aspect at the end. I know that the person that worked on Kingdom Hearts was actually helping with this game, and I'm wondering if that's the way they did it. I do understand, like, the whole story plot behind it. But again, it literally looks like the huge Heartless guy. It might as well have been the huge Heartless guy. And they're all dark. They could have made it like, a different Genova. They could have made it like anything else besides this huge monstrosity of a guy that you're fighting. And you really don't even fight him. You fight his 3 underlings, and then doing damage to them does damage to the main bad guy.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was off-putting, but I mean, does it really make me not love the game anymore? No. Like, it's one small part of the video game. And then after you fight that guy, you fight Sephiroth again. So, you're fighting the main bad guy again anyways. So, really, like, it's not that bad of a deal.
Right. Because, like, no matter what product, you can always find one thing you're not too happy about.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
I mean, yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I was unhappy that you had to actually purchase the two actual other summons. From what I understand, they weren't that great to begin with, which was Carbuncle and Cactar. Cactar does non-elemental damage and does 1,000 points of damage. So I guess in the beginning of the game, like, he wouldn't seem like that bad, Like, that's normally what Cactar would do. And Carbuncle, like, from what I read of the abilities, basically it just shields you when you actually can use, the summons.
Okay.
That I guess was another thing I didn't like, but then I understood. You can't use the summons all the time. Say, I'm fighting a boss battle. You can only use it once during a boss battle and only when specific conditions are met. Like the amount of time you've been in the battle, how much damage you've actually taken, stuff like that. Like, I've literally had battles where instantly I've taken just a bunch of damage and all of a sudden my summons bar has come up and it's starting to charge already. And it's like, well, I didn't want to use it this soon. I know I got hit a lot, but,
right. Like, I know it's been a long time, but I don't remember there being restrictions for summoning for Final Fantasy X.
No, there wasn't. As long
okay.
as you had magic. Actually, no. Well, Yuna, she would summon the creature, and the creature would actually have its own hit points. In the original Final Fantasy, you had magic, and yeah, they cost like a good amount of magic at one point. When you're talking about in this game, like, without any MP ups materia, like, you're talking about maybe reaching 100 MP if you're using the right weapon, if you're lucky, and especially say on hard mode, if you're using that to heal yourself, and then this summons, like, I think the lowest summons in the original game was 14 MP, which was Chocobo, and so literally spending 14 MP, and yeah, you could do it multiple times as long as, like, I think if you had the materia at 2 stars, you could do it twice, and if you had it at 3 stars, you could do it like up to 5 times or something weird like that, But it based off your level of the materia.
Okay.
In this game, when you get summons materia, it has its own slot, so I guess that's cool, but you can only cast it once, and like I said, only in specific conditions.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, they're amazing to look at, and they actually fight alongside you, just like, what Final Fantasy game was that? Was it 15? Because, like, so basically in Final Fantasy X, you summon the summons, and then it just stands there like a normal character, and you get to tell it to attack,
Right.
This one, it'll do every once in a while, it just goes around the playing field. It might attack sometimes, or with your ATB bars that charge up, you literally could tell it, hey, use this attack. And so literally,
cool.
And they cost like 1 to 2 ATB bars. If you're getting Bahamut, you have to literally, each one of his attacks costs 2 ATB bars to actually get off. So, and then you have to charge. Yeah. And those ATB bars are everything in this game. That's what actually gets you your special abilities, able to use magic, items, like everything. All you could do without those ATB bars is just normal attack. Like, Barrett, shoot your gun. You might be able to charge his Make Blast. With Cloud, you can actually go into, I forget what mode it is, but you basically can go into a different mode that does heavier damage, and then when you block, instead of blocking, it actually counterattacks.
Ooh, I like that. I like counterattacks. Extra damage.
Yep.
Always a good thing. Alright. I think that's gonna end our bonus level for the Thoughts Players podcast. And as you all know, we always have a final thoughts. Spike, do you have any final thoughts about anything?
About anything?
Anything. It's any final thought. What do you feel you want to throw out there?
I threw out Borderlands 3 out there a few times because me and my wife play it. Honestly, I'm disappointed in the game.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
That's juicy.
I am really disappointed. The amount of, the item drops that you get in the game, you have to amp up the difficulty to such an extreme level to get anything good. And actually, when we started doing it, we still weren't getting very good guns, and stuff like that. It downplayed a lot. Like, I'm not expecting to not have to work,
right?
So I don't expect these guns to literally be like amazing to the point where I'm not even trying as I'm just going through this game.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm literally finding no guns to help me out and I'm getting annihilated over and over again, this game just frustrated me with that.
Right.
The loading times all over the place sucked. Certain quests glitch out on you. You know, like this game was so buggy. You know, it honestly, compared to the first two, I'm just overly disappointed with this one. I like the concept of the game, the storyline. It plays like this original game, but me and my wife had, on a PS4 of all things, had to restart the game just to get further into the game sometimes because it would freeze, or like we couldn't finish a certain mission because it wouldn't let us pick up something. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Like, after the first two games being as good as they were, like, and I don't remember seeing any glitches in those games. Going to playing this game after waiting so long for the third one to come out,
right?
I'm disappointed.
Well, that's saddening. Because, like, I bought Borderlands 2 and played that a little bit, and I wasn't a fan of it, but I do love the way the graphics are. What's it called? Cell shading?
Yep.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And then seeing people cosplays that,
yeah,
even better. I love. That's what I props the Borderlands for that. I've never seen it anywhere else.
No. Well, I've seen it in a few other games. There was like a Vigilante 8, which was like a
Twisted Metal.
Yeah, crap, Twisted Metal, basically.
I loved that game. I don't remember it being cell shaded.
Yeah, it was cell shaded.
Wow.
I could have sworn it was cell shaded. It was
it
one
might
of the
have been,
first
but that
games.
wasn't like on PlayStation.
Yeah,
wasn't it? It was. So
yeah,
long.
it was.
Long
it was
ago.
a long time ago. But like, yeah, there's been games, you know, and of course you know of Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda. That was all cell shaded.
Was it?
Yeah.
'Cause I hated those graphics.
Yeah, that was all cell
like
shaded.
I stayed away from Wind Waker solely because of those graphics. I hated it.
Well, you want to know why you probably hated it?
Because I was
It's
used to
because
the other ones.
They first put out that they were going to bring out Twilight Princess. That's the game that they said they were going to come out with. And then instead they brought you little kid cel-shaded Link in Wind Waker.
I never played Twilight Princess either.
Twilight Princess was amazing.
I don't think I had the console to play it at that point.
You could play it on... yeah, I'll let you borrow that. I got it on frickin' GameCube, and I want to say I have it on...
Was it on GameCube? Oh, I had a GameCube.
Yeah.
Maybe I just never wanted it.
It was on GameCube and the Wii. It was actually... the first game that I thought they made that actually they made it for both. They made it for the Wii first, though, and then everyone was upset because they're like, I don't want to wag this controller around to swing my sword, you know, and so literally, like, it's on both systems, but I think I also have it on the Wii U. But yeah, I had that game. I'll let you borrow it in the system.
Sweet. It's funny, I had a Twilight Princess Link wallet for a long time. I never even played the game because I had the symbol from it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know, I like Link. I'm gonna buy the.
That was another thing too that I wanted to mention. You guys were all talking. Another thing that made me feel like old. You guys were talking about like your love for Zelda, you know, or you're talking about Majora's Mask, you know, being your favorite, or you're talking about Ocarina of Time being your favorite and stuff like that. My favorite was A Link to the Past. I loved that game. It was for the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
You know,
the first Zelda game I played was the gold cartridge on the original Nintendo.
Yeah.
I beat that with my grandpa.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and actually,
that
game, I remember that game being hard.
It was.
You know, when we were kids.
My grandpa mostly beat it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. At that point, I was, what, 7, 8? I don't know.
Oh, man, it had been out for a while.
It had been out for a while. I might have even been like 5 or 6. I don't know. Because they babysat me when I was like young. My brother, he was at the point of just remembering. So
yeah.
He was probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, that's what started my like for Link and everything.
I mean, I remember playing that one. I remember mainly playing Link's Adventure, not knowing what the heck I was doing, which was the second game. You know,
is that the one where
it's side-scrolling?
Side-scrolling and
world.
Yeah, I was not too big of a fan of that one.
No,
I
remember playing it. I didn't
do.
remember going too far. I do remember you go into this one lady's house to get healed, like kind of sketchiness, you know.
Right.
I was like, what? Like I remember playing it older, and I was all like, what is she really doing to him in there? You know. But
the things you miss as a kid, when you go back to it as an adult.
Well, there was
over their head.
Yeah, I remember there was a game that I once played on the Atari, and my dad wasn't paying attention. There was porn Atari games. And
What?
he actually had, yeah. They were ridiculous, like you were this cowboy that had this naked Indian lady tied up with a pole or whatever, and you had to like dodge arrows to get up to like, screw her. Like, there's one where like there's a guy and he's on the streets going back and forth while there's a woman that's literally on top with her boobs dangling dropping milk, and you're supposed to catch it in your mouth. That kind of game. And then they had the vice versa reverse sexes where the guy with his penis hanging down freaking and girl. Yeah, they had these games, okay?
Atari, how could you?
They had a lot of them.
I had no idea.
But, there's some adult risque games that, yeah, dude, I want to say they had more risky games than any other, like, generation system that I've ever seen. Of course, the risk value is actually more nowadays, but, like, because those were only 8-bit, but yeah, they had...
Yeah, now we got freaking...
full-on sex scenes.
It's crazy. The technology we have and use it on CGI.
Yeah. Back to
nakedness.
the subject of Zelda, though, yes. Like, A Link to the Past. I remember, actually, when my stepbrother first got his Super Nintendo and he got A Link to the Past from his dad, because that was the thing that his dad loved, was Zelda. I remember sneaking out into my hallway and hiding behind the actual wall, the doorway and stuff like that, to watch him play A Link to the Past until I could actually play it the next morning. I would sit there and watch that game all the time. I played that game so many times. And then I remember when, Zelda A Link Between Worlds came out, where literally you can turn into a Link that slides along the walls all flat. He looks like a painting. Or whatever.
Okay.
It's basically just A Link to the Past that's shorter, and it upset me so greatly. Yeah, it was for a handheld system, but I was really looking forward to this game, and it literally almost has the exact same storyline, same dungeon to go to or whatnot. Maybe a little different map scheme, but it was basically A Link to the Past, just shorter. And I was disappointed.
Dang, that's upsetting.
And then, fun fact, when I first got my Nintendo 64, my parents told me that they were not going to buy me any more games ever for any system ever again. The first game they got me was Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and I played that basically for a year. I beat it multiple times. My friend actually told me to beat it with only 3 hearts, and I did it with only 3 hearts the whole game.
Holy crap. Yeah, I loved Ocarina of Time. That's the first one I beat on my own. And I loved this Epiona song, I think, when you're at the ranch.
Yep.
And the girl's playing. I would literally go there and just listen to the song. It was so great.
I whistle that song or hum that song to Lily all the time.
It's so cute. I love it.
Alright. That's my final thoughts, though.
Alright. My final thought is remakes are remakes. Nostalgia is great, but sometimes you need a little change.
A little tweak.
A little tweak here and there. It's great. It's not always a bad thing.
No.
The gaming industry 20 years ago is way different than what it is now. I would rather have more history and more things to watch than what we had back then. There's so much more you can do now. It's insane. So for me, add in more. I'm okay with that.
What I honestly think is, like, how many gamers that used to play the original games are still gaming? And we've all built lives. We've all become adults. You know, how many of them are actually still gaming? And then, are they willing to spend that money, if they're a responsible adult, on a game that's basically just, a revamped same version of the game that they played in the past?
Right.
They need to also expand their horizons for a new market, a new generation of gamers.
Exactly.
This is why tweaks do need to be made, you know? Again, with this remake of Final Fantasy, they're not going to know the exact history. They won't know exactly how everything's changed. They did give certain hints that this is a change. They are changing their fates in the end of the game. But, you're not going to know the original story unless you go back and play, which will also get new generation of gamers to say, hey, I want to play the original game. And again, it's not like a full-priced game anymore. Not like it was. It's worth playing again. And I put more than 99 hours into that game, So, it's well worth the price that it is now, especially if you just want to do a speed run like I was saying, to just get to know the story.
Right.
It's well worth the price to get just a huge speed run to go through and wipe it out and find the original story. No, remakes are a good thing. I loved when they remade freaking Resident Evil for the first time on the GameCube. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much better to control.
Yeah, like I wish they would remake Resident Evil Survivor because, like I said, and for no good reason.
Yeah.
I literally can't play it. I can't, and it would be
want
cool.
to know what was funny? Because when you brought that up, I was thinking of how I remember seeing Silent Hill again, and I was like, dude, I want to play that, and I downloaded it, and the controls are so janky and so hard, it made it unenjoyable. I was just like,
how did we play games?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was so upset. So, but I felt that way. When I was like, dude, this reminds me of when I bought Resident Evil. After you said, I can't play Survivor anymore. I was just like, yeah, I know what you mean, man.
Alright, well, that's going to be the end of this bonus level of Thoughts and Players podcast. I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for listening to us and throwing us all out there to anybody that might be interested. I want to thank you, Spike, for coming and being a guest.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my time. And I love listening to you guys. It's amazing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. When the trio were talking about maybe doing bonus levels and having guests and stuff, instantly thought of you. Because you said, that'd be cool to be on the podcast and stuff. I'm like, done.
Honestly, I didn't want to step on toes. You guys doing what you guys are doing are amazing. So I was just like, no, it'd be real cool to be a guest. I wouldn't mind being a guest again at some point. But no, you guys are doing amazing.
I really appreciate it. It's very new territory for me, and I'm pretty sure new territory for the other two. And knowing that we have a fan base already and to get such positive criticisms is amazing.
Yeah, you guys make me feel old.
Good. All right. Thank you all, and have a good night.
Bye.